In a recent video, I mentioned how the 18 plus LEGO set box designs are in need of a design update. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that the current ones are bad. It's just that for me personally, it's lacking some personality. So I had the bright idea to try my hand at redesigning the upcoming LEGO Star Wars UCS Jango Fett's Firespray-Class Starship. Just for fun. But before we do that, let's just break down the positives and negatives of the current box design. First, the shots of the model are amazing and gives you a great idea of what the build entails. Secondly, I love the personalized logo in the Star Wars style. And thirdly, the greebling running along the bottom of the box is a nice device to tie all of these premium sets together into one design language that allows for slight customization in terms of pieces and color. Now, what I don't like are the 4 elements that are stuck into each corner of the front of the box. There's also this awkward empty space to the bottom right that I think can be utilized a bit better, along with a very flat black background. And then there's a few minor design and color choices that I don't fully agree with that I will remedy along the way. So first I'll start by getting a rough sketch to get my layout down before moving to my PC. Just a heads up that this won't be the most refined artwork, but rather a mocked up version to give us an idea of what it could look like. With the layout locked down, I can start sourcing my assets and placing them on my artboard. I'm only going to be using pre-existing images and product shots from the internet. First, let's start off by placing our product shot right in the middle of the box. I really miss seeing the yellow Star Wars logo, so let's pop that in top left, locked in with a LEGO logo. I mentioned that I like the unique logo they made for this set, but man, do I wish that it was just called Slave 1 instead of Jango Fett's Starship. So let's update that as well. And I think it is important to add the UCS text to this set to set it apart from the others. And while we're here, let's also add some additional secondary info. So now that we have the main assets in there, it's looking a bit flat, which was my main issue. So let's go to the source and grab a nice image for the background. This shot looks pretty cool. So I'd like to keep most of the box black, but I'd also like to split the box at a 45-degree angle to get a nice balance going. And that's already looking pretty good, but let's add some motion blur to the ship. Then my other minor issue was the blue gradient behind the ship. I would have preferred yellow to match the yellow thrusters of the ship, so let's go ahead and do that. Now let's just knock the background back a little bit, and there we go. Another thing that I like is how the assets sometimes go around the corner, so I'm adding that to the one side of the box. And I'm also placing the back and front of the ship on both sides, along with some nonsensical lorem ipsum text for the fine print. So I'm not going to do too much to the back of the box because it's important to showcase the full stand. But I am going to be adding some of that subtle Camino grey clouds, and then I'm also removing the source shot at the bottom to get some nicer play feature images in there with some classic Star Wars yellow borders, seeing how it complements the model's color palette so well. Now all that's left to do is adding it to the original box design by grabbing my trusty distort tool, and then we can take a look at the final result. So I'm not necessarily saying mine is better, and maybe it does lose the slick look that LEGO is aiming for, but I definitely like the hint of a location in the background, and the motion blur behind the ship gives it a nice energy. I also feel like the shot of the model is framed so much better between the text and the logos, and this highlight running along the left of the ship over the dark background really draws the eye in. I really hope that the graphic designers at LEGO are looking at shaking up their premium designs a little bit, to bring back some of the fun and uniqueness of each set. Anyways, let me know what you think about my refreshed design. Is it a step in the right direction, or should LEGO just stick to their existing design? And if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And as always, thank you for watching.